Welcome to the live stream. We are the channel that is going to answer all of your trading questions. We're going to look at all of my trading setups and look at trades that I'm interested in right now. We had a profitable trade earlier on already, which I will share with you as well, guys. And what we've got to do right now is just jump into the news, right? Because we have just had the Bank of England interest rate decision. And, you know, no surprise, they followed suit with the Fed yesterday, right? The Fed kept interest rates the same. And you can see, right, the Bank of England have done the same. Okay, so they've kept, what terrible English, they've kept the interest rate the same. But what is interesting, guys, are these figures here. Right, this is what we're going to look at the pound and the reaction, right? But this is interesting because before the forecast was 7 people, right, will vote to keep this interest rate unchanged, okay, next time around. And 2 people were going to vote for a cut, right? Now, what has actually happened is 8 people have now voted to have no change to this 4.5%. And therefore, only 1 has voted for a rate cut. Now, if you think about that, that is bullish for the pound, right? Because if they're not going to reduce the interest rate, right? And basically, if you reduce an interest rate, it will make a currency weaker, right? If you increase the interest rate, it will make it stronger. And what has happened here is they are signifying that they don't want to lower the interest rate. Okay. Now this should make, right, if you think about that, that should make the pound strong. Now I'm hoping that's the case because we're going to look at the charts and see what reaction that has given the pound. And there you go, guys, right? If you look at the H1, this is pound Aussie dollar, right? We're seeing real pound strength. Let's have a look at pound US dollar. Super duper pound strength. I was in a euro pound sell trade earlier, which we'll take a look at in a minute. Wish I'd stayed in that a little bit longer, but yeah, that is pound strength. All right, so that interest rate decision for the pound has made the pound very bullish, guys. All right. So yeah, but that's not the only piece of news to talk about today. There's other pieces of news here as well, guys. Right. So Swiss franc, they kept their interest rate the same. So 0.25, 0.25. And then obviously this press conference is super important, right? And let's take a quick look at some Swiss franc pairs, right? Let's have a look at Euro Swiss franc. That has led to some real Swiss franc weakness. Okay, let's have a look at US dollar Swiss franc. Yeah, look at this. It's just continued Swiss franc weakness. All right, so yeah, the Swiss franc became weak off the back of its interest rate decision, whereas the pound has become strong off the back of the interest rate decision. And more importantly, as I said, guys, these figures here. Okay. And also, guys, there's so much news come out, important news, and this employment change for the Aussie dollar was a big one. And that actually put me off getting into Euro Aussie dollar. So yeah, lots of news coming out today, guys, lots of things to look at. But what we'll start by doing is looking at one of my trades from earlier, okay? And my trade from earlier was euro pound sells. Now, this was very similar to a trade I took the other day, right? And I'll show you my trades in the VIP Discord. In fact, let's go there straight away, right? Now, this is the trade that I took on euro. Why do I keep pressing that? That's the wrong button. This is a trade I took earlier on euro pound. And it was a very in and out trade, right? I mean, euro pound is the sort of pair that, you know, doesn't move a lot of pips, right? But this was an entry at 85 and I was just coming down to 76, which is a 9 pip profit, and I was risking 8 pips. Okay, so it's a very in and out trade, but it was successful, and we'll take a look at that. But it reminds me very much of this trade, this Euro Swiss franc sell trade that we had a couple of days ago. So yesterday we had this trade, guys. So if you revert back to yesterday's live stream, you will see how identical my euro pound trade is. All right, from today, we were successful. And guys, if you want all of these trade ideas, please come join our VIP Discord channel. So let me explain it. Euro pound, right? I like the weekly chart, right? Because we've had a big bearish candle bounce off of this resistance level. This was an old target for buys. Let me get rid of that. Okay, so we like the weekly. And then if we looked at the daily, guys, you know, was we starting to see lower highs? Okay, potentially, yes. But most importantly, we got this very bearish candle, right, on euro pound. And all I was trying to do was take price back down to these daily lows. That's why it was literally, you know, a 9 pip target, right? But just check how bearish this is. Right? If you're going to sell a currency pair or whatever it is, an indice, a commodity, if you're going to sell a bike, I'm joking with a bike, that's not applicable. But if you're going to sell currency, commodity, indice, whatever, right? You just want to see a lot of sellers. Now check out all of these sellers, right? Bearish daily candle, sellers, H4, right? We had a structure break on the H4. This is where we were at, right? When I entered, bearish, bearish, bearish. Okay. Sellers, sellers, sellers. And then on the H1, the actual entry candle that I took was this candle here, right? I actually started selling on this candle, which was the finish of that H4 candle. But again, H1 structure, right? Bearish, 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 below the moving average 20, right? Started selling here, stop above here, took price down to 76, down to here, right? Got a little bit over 1:1, but take commissions out, roughly 1:1. And there you go, guys. That was my trade. It was as simple as that. So just bearish, 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 start selling. There wasn't much room to move into, right? If I show you, these are those last daily highs that I was, daily lows that I was talking about, right? They are daily lows in here. And I was just trying to take them down to the daily lows, right? As you can see, that was around 76. And that was it, guys, as simple as that. I really like it as well when you have H1 under the moving average 20, right? And you have H4 under the moving average 20, right? There's lots of plus lots of bearish momentum as well. Now in hindsight, I could have left some profit on this trade to run, but, the pound news could have gone this way or that way, but it's looking like it's coming down further, guys, right? But nice profitable trade. And as I said, that was in the VIP Discord. All right. Now, another trade. And guys, I'm looking at the live chat. So hello, everyone. How the devil are you? Hope you're all well. And I'm seeing all your questions. So we'll get to the live chat in a minute and answer as many questions as we can. Remember, guys, don't be shy. Come say hello. Leave a question. And it can be to do with anything to do with trading, right? We are the channel that answers all of your questions. I'm going to get a t-shirt that says that and wear it out in public. And random people will ask me questions. But yes, leave a question, guys, about anything you like to do with trading or football. Yeah, what else am I looking at? Right, another trade I was looking at the start of today. So euro pound was one of them, but euro Aussie dollar was one such trade. Now, you can see my alarm in here, right? So if we just recap with Euro Aussie dollar, okay. Now, please remember when we analyze this chart, that candle's not there, right? So at the start of today, yeah, we're seeing this retrace on Euro Aussie dollar, and we're getting bearish candles, right? We had buyers come back in, but then sellers come back in, right? So I was looking to take sells back down to this 1.700 level, right? But if we look at the H4, we just never got a setup, right? So this is a good reason to think about the moving average 20, right? And it's also important to think about previous news. So let me explain what I mean, right? So Euro Aussie dollar, we were in a downtrend, right? Bang, we broke these lows. It was in a downtrend. That was the big move off the back of the Fed, right? The Fed affects all currencies, right? And then I got this candle, right? And you're probably thinking, Tom, why the bloody hell did you not enter on that candle, right? Nice big bearish candle, could start selling down to here, if not further, right? Because if we go back in time and we look at this candle, let's do it like this. Let's do it stage by stage. Now, the first thing is, right, this is the first candle of the day, right? H4 candle. First thing is we're above the moving average 20. Generally speaking, right, I want to be below the moving average 20. So that didn't quite sit well with me, right? Secondly, not long ago from that candle forming, we had this terrible news come out of Australia, right? I mean, it's just all terrible news. That's terrible, right? There's no forecast here, but look at the previous number, right? These are minus figures. These are terrible figures for the employment, for you know, the workforce in Australia, right? Okay, so that, I know that happened earlier, but that played into my thinking as well, right? You have to be aware of these big news. These are big indicators of what's going on. So if we go back to Euro Aussie dollar now, what I said to myself was this: if we start to see price come below the moving average 20, I would start considering selling this pair. Now, if we go to the H1, you'll also see the H1 wasn't below the moving average 20, right? You know, the euro pound trade that I just showed you, everything was below the moving average 20, everything was bearish, right? This isn't the case, right? There's buyers and sellers in this market, right? Now, I didn't jump into the trade first and foremost, right? I said to myself, right, let's see how the H1 plays out, right? And then all of a sudden, right, we don't need to be in a rush to trade. All of a sudden, we get this scenario. Now, I put my alarm in here. Once we come out of this back to the future button, you will see that my alarm is in here, right? So basically, I'm still interested in Euro Aussie dollar, but because of the bad news, right, and because everything's not breaking down yet below the moving average 20, I said to myself, if we get a break of this level on the H1, this is when I will start selling Euro Aussie dollar. If that doesn't happen, I won't sell it. Now, that's also a really important thing about not being impulsive, right? I'm planning my trade all the time. And this is what I'm doing. I'm planning it. I know what I'm going to do with this trade before it happens. Okay? And I just play it along, right? If we just speed this up, the scenario that I was looking for just hasn't happened, right? And there you go. Once we come out of the back to the future button, there's my alarm. You can see, right? I just put my alarm in there. If that happened, I would have sold it. If it doesn't, I'm not interested. And, you know, it turned out to be a pretty good decision, right? You know, look at the H4 as we speak, right? You do not want to start buying that. selling that, sorry. Now, what will be interesting is this next H4 candle, right? We've got 45 minutes before this candle finishes forming, right? If we get a big wick that looks like this and closes back into this, to these last highs, then this trade idea is still in play, right? Okay, I still want to see breakdowns on that H1, right? But the idea of this trade is still in play. Now, if the candle finishes like this on the H4, that is a H4 break of structure, and I am totally not interested, right? Chances are this isn't coming down. All right, so, you know, a few lessons to be learned there, guys, right? You know, don't be impulsive. Plan your trade ahead of time, right? Which involves analysis, involves sitting down and taking the time to do it, involves hard work. A lot of traders fail because they're not willing to put that time in. And also, you know, be aware of news that's come out previously, right? That's a thing, yeah, of course, right? And that employment data in Australia was really bad. And, you know, don't jump into trades, right? Let's see how it plays out, okay? And yeah, don't be impulsive, guys, all right? So yeah, that was Euro Aussie dollar, and that was a trade that I was looking at. Yeah, let's have a quick look at Aussie. I mean, you know, again, this is the importance. This is another good lesson, guys, right? I'm on a rant today. I'm going for it. Let me have a drink of water and calm down for 2 minutes. Let's have a drink. And guys, if you haven't already, please don't forget to subscribe to the channel, smash the notification button, and please smash the like button. If you haven't already, also, please come join our trading community. You can share knowledge, ideas, trades with like-minded traders. You don't need to be alone as a trader. Come join our free Discord channel. Also, right now, guys, if you want access to any of our premium trading education, please visit our website, www.simply-forex.com. Also, today's live stream is brought to you by Pepperstone. I'm pointing above my head because right now, if you sign up with Pepperstone, a world-class broker that is compatible with TradingView, then they will give you a free Essential TradingView subscription for free. And we will give you free access to our VIP Trading Academy, where I put my trades every day. All right, guys. So if that sounds like a deal, yeah, go check it out. Use the links provided. All right, guys. So yeah, Aussie dollar, US dollar. This is another one we wanted to look at, right? Because again, if I go back in time, yeah, and you just look at that daily chart, that is a nice buy trade. Right, look at that. We're in an uptrend, yeah, clearly getting higher lows, higher highs, and price has come down to a really nice support level, and we've got this huge bullish wick bounce off of this level. There is lots and lots to like about this day chart, potentially take price back up to here, if not this 4,000 level. I really, 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 really like that as a day chart. As a day chart, right? That's what I want a daily chart to look at. Now, that's not to say that I will get a trade, right? And this is the interesting bit, guys, right? I really like the daily chart. I want to buy it, but I don't trade the daily chart. I use the daily chart for direction, and it's telling me to buy, right? Because of the reasons I just showed you. Now, if we drop down to the H4, nothing at any point has told me to buy this pair, right? Because again, you know, looking at the H4 and what we've just discussed about the moving average 20, right? Price, this is the first candle of the day. Price is in a downtrend, lower highs, right? Lower lows. We are below the moving average 20, right? And therefore, I don't have a setup, right? What I was looking for was a break of these highs, right? So if price came down, we started seeing something like this, and then we got a break, right? We started to get higher lows, higher highs. Then I have a trade, right? We're with H4 trend. We will be with H1 trend. We're above the moving average 20, right? I would have started buying that. So although I liked the daily chart, there was still a lot that needed to happen before I took the trade, right? Lots, yeah. And as it happens, didn't get a setup, and right, bearish candles below the moving average 20 turned out to be a good sell trade, right? But I couldn't sell it because that daily chart looks so good for buys. But in terms of a H4 entry, shout out to Brett, by the way. Brett took this trade. Yeah, that was a bearish H4 candle in a downtrend at the top of the moving average 20. Sell it. Right. So there you go, guys. Yeah, I didn't get a setup for me, but it was a good H4 sell opportunity. So yeah, there you go, guys. That's no, there's one more thing I'm looking at as well. I've been looking at oil. Now, I want you to tell me if you like this trade, right? Let's go to West Texan Intermediate specifically, right? And this is all about, I mean, look, you can even put a trend line through here. This is a really nice entry, really, okay? Right. So as you can see, that trend line. So we're going to work our way up now, right? So this trend line clearly identifies this H4, right? A bit scruffy there, this H4 uptrend, and then bang, right, in a downtrend. It's retraced to the moving average 20, right? Surprise, surprise, at the moving average 20, we're starting to see a big bearish candle, right? Now, as a H4 setup, it doesn't get much better, right? I would look to take price back down to these lows. And, you know, the more I look at this H4, I was this close to entering this trade. Like I've already, you know, made some good money selling euro pound. And, you know, I guess that, and it shouldn't come into my head, but I was like, right, I've made my money, you know, and I didn't take this trading opportunity. Now, this could come back and prove to me that I should. But on the H4, this oil trade looks really nice, right? Even on the day chart, right? Look at the day chart. The more I think about this trade, the more I think get in it immediately, right? Look at this, right? These highs are not breaking. Look at that big bearish candle, right? And again, at the moving average 20, right? You know, and this isn't exactly a bullish candle, is it? So sellers are in control, right? So, yeah, the more I talk about this trade, the more I think, you know, get in it. Now, the only thing that's putting me off, right, and this is what kept me out, is the weekly chart, right? We know historically this level through here just hasn't broken, right? It tried to break down here, but bang, straight back up, right? So this, you know, this 65, this 64 to 65 level, right? It just hasn't broken. Now, at that level, this weekly candle isn't exactly bullish, but it isn't exactly bearish. And it's at that key level as well. And that's the only thing that's put me off this trade, is this doji of a weekly candle and these bottom wicks, Right now, wrongly or rightly, we will find if, you know, staying out of this trade was a good reason. But yeah, I just wanted to show you what kept me out of this trade. So everyone keep an eye on West Texan Intermediate. And if it shoots down here, you can all go, ha ha. Yeah, and if it all shoots up here, you can go, oh, brilliant. Great decision, Tom. All right, that's the beauty of trading, right? There's no hindsight. But yeah, I really like this as a H4 entry down to there. Now, what do you think of this trade, guys, right? Is anyone selling oil right now? Do you like this setup? To be honest with you, it's difficult not to like it. So yeah, there you go, guys. Right. Sorry, guys, I've been prattling on quite a bit there, haven't I? Let's see who's in the house. Right, Brett, how are you? Luigi, Tony. Okay, Tony's got a question there. Jude, Nabi, hello from Iran. Hi from Iran. Hi there. Tony, Philip, Noor, hi Noor, Zuzi, the lady with the questions, James, Michael, hi, Jet, Himanshu, Aya, Steve, Bass, CJ, how are you? Hello. Right, so let's go through a few questions. Let's start at the top, guys. Please bear in mind, guys, if you want to have priority questions, all you need to do is become a Simply Forex member. So you can show your support for the channel by becoming a YouTube Simply Forex member, and you will get priority questions, all right? Just to let you know, and you can show your love for the channel. And I think it's about $1 a month or something. Keeps the editor happy. Keeps the editor in clothes and food. Right. Tony, do you think the US dollar's changed with the FOMC yesterday? I mean, the simple answer is yes. US dollar is coming in strong, right? I mean, look at Aussie dollar, US dollar from, I mean, look at that, right? Look at Euro US dollar, right? US dollar on the, you know, is coming in strong. And we're seeing a lot of H4 breakdowns of structure, right? Euro US dollar was another good sell trade earlier as well. Again, just look at this H4 setup just quickly. Right, lower lows, lower highs potentially, nice big bearish candle at the moving average 20, pretty much identical to Aussie dollar, US dollar, sell it. There you go, bloody simple. And Brett, shout out to Brett, he took this one as well. But yes, Tony, we are seeing US dollar strength off the back of what the Fed said. Now, on the H4, right, it's all about perspective trading, right? Now, on the H4, yeah, sell trades all day, very bearish, right? We go up to the day chart. All we're seeing here is a retrace to the last low, and potentially, if we get a nice bullish candle, potentially a nice buying level, right? So it's all perspective. H4, you're thinking, right, I'm selling Euro US dollar. I can't wait to get in it. I'm selling Euro US dollar like a maniac. And then you look at the day chart, you think, oh, we're at the last daily low. This could be very good support, right? So it's all about perspective, and also about, and this is also why I talk about so much about looking at multiple time frames. You must, right? Let's go up one more. Let's get another opinion. Let's have a look at the weekly. Now, the weekly, I would suggest, agrees with the H4, right? Now, we are in a weekly uptrend. Yeah, you don't need to be Warren Buffett to know that. But look at these candles that we're getting. Obviously, this weekly candle hasn't finished forming, right? We've still got another trading day. But look at that. That is suggesting we are getting potentially, you know, a deeper retrace, right? But the time I would really be interested in this US dollar strength that we're seeing, and we are seeing US dollar strength, the only time I would really be interested is if we get a daily structure break, right? If we get a break of that level, right, and we get a nice big bearish candle break through that level, I would look to sell euro US dollar, right? Sell it down to this piece of support. If not, sell it down to this piece of support, and so on and so on. Because that weekly chart at this level looks like it, you know, has a good retrace because of those bearish candles. But if we get this daily structure break as well, right, that's really going to be the catalyst for me to start selling euro US dollar. I mean, you know, would you want to start selling here? No, that is support. In fact, I'm going to move this line and put that there so we can see it, right? And if you look on the H4, you know, you'll see it's a pretty good level there as well. I mean, even if I drag this across, you can see, okay. But anyway, it's the last daily low, right? Fact. Look at the day chart. So we have to put that level in, right? It's an important level. It'll be interesting to see if this breaks today. It'll be really interesting to see if this candle and all this US dollar strength has enough to break that level. That will tell us how strong this US dollar is. So let's see. It's not a trade for me now. Tomorrow it could be, if this candle finishes like that. Yeah, then it's definitely a trade for me. So there you go, Tony. Hope that helps with US dollar. Right, what else are we looking at? Okay, James is long on the NASDAQ after a falling knife. Thoughts? Okay, let's have a look at the NASDAQ. I bought the S&P yesterday and made some nice profit. But it wasn't a trade for me today. So let's understand why. But let's understand why on the NASDAQ. Because of this, right? Now, first and foremost, we are in a downtrend. Now, there is some subjectivity here. Was that a daily high that was broken? It's just very subjective, that, right? You know, are you seeing that? Are you seeing my yellow line in terms of structure, or are you just seeing that? It is a little subjective. What isn't subjective is we are below the moving average 20, and we're not that overextended, right? The moving average 20 has caught up, right? It's not overextended price. Now, the reason I didn't take it is because of the H4 highs, basically. This level was held, right? You can see this level up here, and if we go to the day chart, you can start to see that it's becoming good resistance, right? It proved to be resistance here, followed by a big bearish candle, and just look at this wick, right? That is proving to be a good area of resistance. So it's not that clear for me anymore, right? I know what I don't want to do, and I don't want to be buying into that level. If it breaks that level, okay, I think you have a little bit more room up to the moving average 20, even up to the next piece of resistance, right? But I want to see that level broke. If we go to the H4, yeah, interesting. And you know, and for me also, with the NASDAQ, it's different with the S&P, which is why I took the S&P. But with the NASDAQ, I am seeing structure break at that level. Those lows were broken, lower lows. And all we've done is come back and test these highs. So we're still technically in a downtrend on the H4. It'll be interesting to see how this candle finishes at this moving average 20. Right? So there's a lot of conflicting things going on, right? You can see that here. You know, H4 is in a downtrend. We're not too sure if we've had a daily structure break or not. We're, you know, to the upside. We're below the moving average 20. Does it have room to move into? We're hitting resistance here, which is clear to see. You know, there's lots of unanswered questions, and things aren't moving in the, they're not moving in unison, right? They're not moving all together in the same way, right? If I, you know, like at the start of the live stream, guys, when I explained the euro pound sell trade, you had bearish daily candle, H4 downtrend with bearish H4 candle. We had H1 downtrend with bearish H1 candle. Everything was moving into the right direction. It's like the perfect storm. This is the opposite. This is a swirling tornado of confusion. Just to use a sea analogy, because I used the perfect storm, I had to use another sea analogy, and I think it fell on its ass. But that's what I'm seeing. Too much contradiction. So yeah, I mean, let me just show you the S&P, because this is still in a H4 uptrend for me and hugging the moving average 20, right? I saw this structure like this. So we've still got that resistance level, right? But we are still getting higher lows. Will this be a new higher low, right? If it is, right, if we end up with a candle that looks like this, right? Let's say, for example, right, we're holding on to the moving average 20, we're getting higher lows, right? But this level is still stubborn. I still wouldn't want to buy this. I would want to buy this when this level's broke. Okay, then potentially a little retrace, and then we take price to the next resistance level here. All right, so yeah, you don't always want to be in at the early price. You want to be in at the right price, right? So yeah, always bear that in mind, guys, when taking a trade. Right, guys, what other pieces of news, what other questions are we looking at? Yeah, Michael, I'd agree with that analogy, right? The indices went high last night, but yen is also strong. So that was a real contradiction, right? Because, yeah, that's a very good point, Michael. And it's a break of a correlation, right? Because if you look at any yen pair, pound yen, right, and you look at the daily chart, we've had a real yen sell-off, right? So when I say yen sell-off, pound yen sell-off, and this equals yen strength, right? There we go. This is a muscly arm. Looks more like a dinosaur, but that is meant to be a bicep. So that is a strong Japanese yen, right? And apologize for my drawings. I'm a 3-year-old. Now, interestingly, right, on the back of what was said in the Fed, right, we did end up with this, bullish-ish candle, right? And all of this, if we go to the H4, this was all on the back of the Fed, right? All this bullish indice action. Now, this bullish indice action would normally mean Japanese yen. How can we do weakness? The opposite of a bicep. But this, sorry guys, just entertaining myself here. This is, this should equal yen weakness. Let's just do it with an arrow, right? But it didn't, right? And we actually got some yen strength coming to the market. So when those correlations break, take notice, right? There's a couple of things you should really pay attention to with the markets when these two things happen, right? The first one is when correlations break, right? The indices are going up, but yen is getting strong. The opposite should happen, but the indices are going up, yen is getting strong. That tells us that something is going on with yen and it's ignoring correlations, and a yen strength could continue, right? You must be aware when correlations start to break. The other time you should be very aware is when price ignores news, right? So we see it many times, you know, let's say, just to take the nearest US dollar pair, right? Let's say we're here, right? And we're buying New Zealand dollar, US dollar, right? We're like, right, this is bullish, stop loss is here, right? And then what comes out, okay, is, let's say, worse than expected US dollar employment data, right? Now, worse than expected employment data should lead to US dollar weakness and further New Zealand US dollar strength, right? But if this happens and price just ignores news, there is something bigger afoot, right? The powers to be are seeing a strong US dollar and nothing's going to stop it. So those two times when correlations break and price ignores news, be aware. You don't want to be on the wrong side of that. All right. So it's a really good point, Michael. Yeah, couldn't agree more. And how's the farm? So yeah, there you go, guys. And guys, if I could please ask everyone to subscribe to the channel, smash the notification button, and please smash the like button. If you haven't already, please come join our trading community. It's free. Come join the free Discord channel. If you want access to all of our premium trading education, please check out our website, www.simply-forex.com. And also today's live stream is brought to you by Pepperstone. So if you change broker today and sign up with Pepperstone, a world-class broker, we will give you a free Essential TradingView subscription, and we'll give you free access to the VIP Trading Academy, right? No brainer, guys. Swap brokers today. What are you waiting for? Right, we've got a few minutes, got a couple of minutes left. Answered that one. What else? Okay, so Philip is, I'm assuming this is my oil trade. So Philip is saying, no, Tom, I feel fundamentals come into play as cost to produce is too close to. Thoughts? Okay, so Philip is saying he didn't like the oil trade that I was talking about for fundamental reasons, right? And my thoughts on that are this, right? Now, there's always something fundamentally going on, right? There just is, right? You know, a few weeks ago, it was like Trump's, you know, wants to start pumping. You know, he said, let's get pumping or something like that. And obviously, more oil, oversupply, oil came crashing down, right? But it's come crashing down to a key support level, right? And price has bounced off of that level. But to be honest with you, fundamentals, you know, you've got OPEC who can change the price of oil like that. You've got Trump who can come out and say something about oil, right? So they're very changeable fundamentals, right? What doesn't lie to me is price action. And what you also have to consider is if I'm taking a trade from here down to here, right? As long as my stop loss is up here, right? I'm selling here. This is my take profit. You know, how much can fundamentals get involved, right? Because, you know, unless there's crude oil inventories coming out later or there's an OPEC monthly meeting, right? Then, okay, fair enough. There is something that could impact oil, right? But fundamentally, the big picture of oil, I don't think is going to have a big impact on this trade because of my time horizon. I'm in it for such a short time, right? So you also have to bear in mind, you know, if I was trading the weekly chart, right, and I'm holding on to a trade for 4 weeks, then of course fundamentals become part of my decision making. But if I'm taking an oil trade from here down to here, right, the fundamentals are already at play, right? So yeah, there you go, Philip. I hope that answers your question there. All right, guys. So we've run out of time. Thank you very much for all joining me today. Thanks for all your questions, guys. Really enjoyed it. Have a great trading day. Enjoy the rest of your week, and I'll see you soon.